If you look closely at society today, we aren't facing standard clinical depression. Depression implies a fight. What we are seeing is far more dangerous: the systemic shutdown of the human will. Philosophers used to talk about the vital impetus, the natural internal drive that makes any living thing push forward and explore. Today, that drive has atrophied into a waking sleep. The modern individual no longer lives, they simply manage survival on autopilot. We have traded the messy, real friction of existence for a low-risk digital simulation. Everything feels distant and muted, as if we are watching life through a thick pane of glass. To understand this paralysis, we have to look past self-help buzzwords and examine the actual biology of the brain. Evolution gave us a master gatekeeper for survival: the dopamine pathway. Let's correct a major myth. Dopamine is not the molecule of pleasure. It is the molecule of anticipation. It is the neurochemical currency of desire, motivation, and effort. The chemical promise that if you do the hard work, a reward waits for you. In nature, this system was regulated by scarcity. If you wanted a dopamine spike thousands of years ago, you had to risk your life hunting or spend months building trust. The feedback loop was long and full of potential failure, which kept our brain chemistry highly sensitive. But what happens when you submerge a system designed for scarcity into an infinite ocean of effortless, instant saturation? The brain downregulates to protect itself. It silences its own antennas. This is dopaminergic bankruptcy. Social media and digital interfaces have completely uncoupled reward from actual effort. Through infinite scrolling and predictive notifications, the digital matrix provides massive chemical rewards with zero physical output. When your brain is blasted with this cheap neurochemistry from the moment you wake up, reality can no longer compete. It results in a heavy grey numbness where nothing is explicitly wrong, yet nothing feels satisfying. A real walk in the physical world or a slow conversation with a flawed human being takes too much effort for too little immediate reward compared to a smartphone. The living mechanism shuts down because reality becomes a bad investment. This neurochemical exhaustion bleeds directly into the total collapse of modern male-female relationships. Dating apps have turned human intimacy into a literal e-commerce catalog. We are no longer interacting with people. We are browsing products based on surface-level metrics. For men, this hypervisual, asymmetric market has broken the traditional evolutionary drive to compete. Faced with constant algorithmic invisibility, the masculine spirit retreats into digital castration, choosing video games and adult simulations where there is no risk of failure. For women, the illusion of infinite global attention inflates expectations to an impossible degree. Receiving thousands of digital micro-validations signals to the ancient brain that options are limitless, but this attention is low-cost opportunism, not real investment. Both sexes are caught in a hall of mirrors. Men have stopped trying out of exhaustion, and women have stopped choosing because they are waiting for a digital ideal. They starve to death in a supermarket of options. This brings us to hyper-alienation. True connection requires presence, reading a face, hearing a voice tone, sharing physical space. Digital communication is a low-bandwidth abstraction. Without presence, vulnerability dies, and without vulnerability, connection is impossible. We have dismantled our solid social structures, neighborhoods, community groups, and replaced them with voluntary isolation. To fill the void, the algorithm feeds us artificial belonging, online tribalism based on shared outrage. You qualify for these tribes not by being a good neighbor, but by hating the same enemy. It feels like community, but it's just a collective panic attack. At the end of this road stands the ultimate shield: passive nihilism. To cope with an exhausted brain and total isolation, the modern individual concludes, nothing matters. This isn't a brave philosophical realization, it is a cowardly defense mechanism used to justify paralysis. If the world is completely broken, then staying in bed scrolling for 8 hours is a rational response. Passive nihilism turns apathy into a badge of honor. It is a highly comfortable velvet prison. Tone changes to a firm, challenging medical authority. So what is the cure? Discard the delusion that you can intellectualize your way out of this. You cannot fix a biological bankruptcy with another philosophical book. Your brain will remain numb until you change your physical inputs. The recovery of the vital mechanism requires an act of intentional existential violence against your habits. You must choose the path of intentional friction. Execute a strict digital fast. Force your brain to endure the quiet, go.